Let's color space. No filter here, just the truth.
Today we're going to talk about something many residents are worried about, and something that deserves a clear answer, with the documents on the table. How are residential projects being approved in agricultural areas or along the rural edge of Miami-Dade when school reports show a lack of capacity at key schools? Because this is not a rumor. In reports from the Concurrency Management System, CMS, of Miami-Dade County Public Schools, there are cases where, for certain schools in the service area, the net available capacity column is negative and loss met shows no. For example, across different preliminary analyses and determinations, deficits appear at schools such as REDLAND Elementary, -143 and -39, SOUTHRIDGE Senior, -128 and -28, Coconut Palm K-8 Academy, ELEM COMP, -136 and -144, HOMESTEAD SENIOR, -306 and -308, Miami SOUTHRIDGE Senior, -105, all showing negative net capacity, and yet applications tied to new development continue moving forward. There are also scenarios where, for some schools, the district indicates that concurrency criteria may be considered met by using adjacent schools, 5-year plans, or capacity reservations, while in the primary area the loss met field indicates it is not met. So the question is straightforward. Are we planning growth responsibly, or are we shifting the problem from one place to another? Who can explain, plainly, how a school with negative capacity is balanced out when dozens or hundreds of new housing units are added? And here's the second point, more sensitive, but completely legitimate to ask. In an official communication from the school district regarding a concurrency case, it states that there are declarations of restrictions, covenants, in favor of the school board and that the applicants voluntarily proffered, that is, voluntarily offered, an additional monetary donation, above and beyond educational impact fees, tied to the increase in units. It also states that the donation must be satisfied prior to the final plat, and that permits should not be issued until the covenants are fully satisfied. That raises questions the public has every right to ask. What exactly does a voluntary donation mean in this context? How is it calculated, how is it audited, and where is it publicly reported? Does that donation actually create real school capacity, classrooms, teachers, infrastructure, or does it only mitigate the file on paper? And above all, why does the system allow projects to proceed when the CMS itself shows capacity deficits at area schools? Let's be clear, no one is alleging a crime. No one is saying anyone was bought. What we are doing is what a democracy requires, asking questions based on documents and demanding transparency. Because if the implicit message becomes, there's no capacity, but if there's a covenant mechanism and a donation, then the case moves forward, residents will inevitably ask, are we replacing public planning with case-by-case deals? Are we creating a precedent where growth is negotiated file by file, while residents absorb the traffic, the school overcrowding, and the loss of agricultural land? This isn't ideology, it's basic public administration. In a county where every year we hear about congestion, strained services, and overcrowded schools, the standard should be simple: capacity first, expansion second. Infrastructure first, density second. That's why today's demand is not an attack. It is a formal and reasonable request that Miami-Dade County Public Schools and local government explain, in writing and with data, how concurrency met is determined when schools in the area show loss met no. What role adjacent schools and 5-year plans play, what these covenants are exactly, and how a voluntary donation translates, if it does, into measurable capacity. And what safeguards exist to ensure the public interest is not subordinated to the speed of development. Residents are not asking for favors. They are asking for clear rules, verifiable numbers, and a growth model that does not sacrifice rural life, agricultural land, and quality of life. And the final question, the one that sums it all up, remains on the table for officials to answer. Are we building a planned county, or a negotiated county?